Pin was just a little kid, not exactly the brightest bulb, but the beloved son of a super-rich family. And because of that, he became the perfect target for 3 bumbling kidnappers. What they didn't realize, though, was what kind of boy they had just messed with. Pay close attention, because this cute little rascal isn't someone you can easily deal with. These 3 crooks in the picture? They're about to step into disaster. Our little pig-faced boy stared at them with those big innocent eyes, then looked at one of the men in front of him. Suddenly, he burst out laughing. Why? Because their faces looked hilariously similar. The tough guy picked the kid up, but the expression on his face was priceless, like he had just swallowed a fly. Using the excuse of just taking a photo and pretending to escort the boy, the 3 seized the chance to smuggle him out through a window, shoved him into their car, and sped away. They left behind a note that read like a villain's manual, "The kid is in our hands. Don't call the cops. Ransom, $5 million. Turns out, these 3 geniuses had been eyeing the boy for a while. One even tried to play babysitter, testing milk to see if it was hot or cold, sip here, blow there, just to keep Pin entertained. Inside though, Pin was already side-eyeing them, thinking, these guys? Seriously? They wanted him to drink warm milk and sleep, but surprise, surprise, instead of the kid, the big oaf fell asleep first. Pin smacked his face a few times, but the guy snored away like a log. And just like that, the boy climbed out the window, sneaked up to the rooftop, and spotted a pigeon. His mouth watered immediately. Of course, his drool fell right on one crook's neck below. The guy looked up, confused, only to see Pin waving gleefully with a piece of wood in his hand. In a flash, the thug dashed up to grab him, but before he could even process what was happening, Pin had already tossed the plank aside. Result? They lost their only way across. The kid giggled non-stop, while the kidnappers peered down. Holy crap, that's gotta be at least 3,000 meters. One muttered, "Guess we'll just jump tonight, huh?" Another actually tried, but halfway across he vanished from sight. The others panicked, wondering if he had fallen to his doom. Nope, he was stuck dangling somewhere, crying for help. Meanwhile, Pin spotted a bus pulling in. Without hesitation, he hopped right on. The 3 crooks scrambled into their car, trying to give chase, but of course, they took the wrong direction. Pin, already inside, slipped into the basket of a chubby auntie. By the time the kidnappers caught up and yanked open the bus door, poof! The kid had vanished. Turns out, he was hiding snugly in Auntie Fatty's tote bag. When one crook accidentally brushed too close, she whipped around, whacked him with her bag, and unleashed a flurry of kung fu moves, neck lock, face punches, the works. "Who do you think you're messing with?" she bellowed, sending them reeling. Pin, clever as ever, used the chaos to sneak away and ended up in a daycare. There, a kind nurse picked him up, doted on him, and even handed him a bottle of milk. Pin sucked away happily while being pushed in a stroller. But of course, his field trip didn't stop there. The stroller rolled right into the zoo. The little rascal marched straight across the road like he owned it. The kidnappers spotted him, but when they tried to cross, bam! A truck zoomed by, crushing one guy's foot flat. Limping, they chased him anyway, only to fall into an open manhole. By the time they dragged themselves out, they found tiny footprints leading into the zoo. And there was Pin, already befriending a gorilla. The 3 froze outside the cage, dumbstruck. Pin, meanwhile, was bonding with King Kong like they were brothers. One crook tried to be clever, yanking at Pin's shoelaces to drag him out. "Boss! Help me," he cried. The gorilla lumbered over, casually slapped him like a mosquito, and sent him flying. "That's my little bro, touch him again and see what happens," the gorilla seemed to say. Another thug grabbed a stick and tried to prod Pin, thinking he had the upper hand, until the gorilla pulled the boy back, tucked him safely inside, and snarled with the roar of a lion. The guy, who clearly hadn't brushed his teeth in days, got blasted so hard he nearly split his butt cheeks in 2. Bravo, King Kong! Under the gorilla's protection, the kidnappers could only watch helplessly. Eventually, though, Pin crawled out of the zoo again, ready for the next leg of his adventure, while his mom back home sobbed her eyes out in worry. The chase continued. The crooks spotted him again, leapt out of their car, and charged, only for Pin to slip into a saw pipe. One actually had a smart idea for once: we'll block both ends. And indeed, they managed to grab Pin inside the tunnel. Victory at last? Not so fast. Just then, a police officer appeared. Panic time! They tried to act casual, but Pin, the little devil, reached out and grabbed one thug by the family jewels, twisting mercilessly while the cop asked questions. The crook's face turned red, then purple, while Pin mischievously flicked a lighter under him. In an instant, sizzle! The poor guy's butt was on fire. He dared not scream, just squirmed while smoke rose. The cop, smelling barbecue, muttered, "Summer sure came early this year." Then casually walked away, leaving the three to roast. Pin escaped yet again, this time wandering into a construction site. Trucks rumbled, cranes lifted steel beams, but the boy just saw it as a playground. He sat atop a steel plate munching a bun, only for the crane to hoist him high into the sky. The kidnappers below nearly fainted. One scrambled up an elevator to reach him, while another got shoved into a cement mixer. At one point, Pin slid down a beam like it was a playground slide, landing safely, while a thug dangled midair, shrieking for dear life. Another got dumped headfirst into a vat of cement, popping out like a statue. Every attempt to catch the kid ended with bruises, bumps, or, let's just say, crushed eggs. Even when one thug finally cornered Pin, he slipped, fell into wet cement, and got spun around like dough in a mixer. The boy just tilted his head and thought, wow, these uncles are hopeless. The chaos climaxed when Pin climbed onto a crane. The thug lunged, but the end-of-shift whistle blew, and the machine shut down, leaving him dangling all night while Pin crawled away scot-free. Back home, the cops investigated. The maid cleverly deduced Pin's next destination based on his favorite comic book, and sure enough, he toddled straight into the residence of a former US president. The old men there laughed heartily at the boy's antics, their Christmas party brightened by his mischief. At last, his frantic parents arrived, rushing in to find Pin happily clapping along to a Christmas carol. It truly was a blessed Christmas night. And as the family reunited, Pin suddenly pointed at the villain's hideout. The police swooped in immediately, catching the three unlucky crooks in one clean sweep. Their grand ransom scheme ended in utter humiliation, all because they had crossed paths with one adorable little monster. Having a kid like this? Equal parts chaos and blessing. Merry Christmas, everyone! And remember, if you enjoyed this crazy ride, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stew.